In the dark corners of the ocean, where sunlight barely penetrates and predators lurk at every turn, one creature has evolved a defense so effective and so weird that it leaves scientists both amazed and completely grossed out. Meet the hagfish, a jawless, eel-like animal with a lineage stretching back over 300 million years. Though it doesn't appear very threatening, the hagfish wields one of the most effective weapons in the sea: slime. In the ocean's never-ending arms race, most creatures come equipped with serious weaponry: razor-sharp teeth, crushing claws, ink jets, lightning-fast strikes. But then there's the hagfish with no jaws, no speed, no armor, just a weird, floppy, sock-like body and a face that looks permanently in a state of shock. By all logic, this thing should have been wiped out ages ago. So how did this bizarre fish pull off one of the most effective survival strategies in the ocean? And could this goo hold secrets we might actually use? To say hagfish are peculiar is an understatement. They are often nicknamed slime eels, though they are neither standard eels nor typical fish. They lack jaws, they don't have true vertebrae, and their skin hangs loosely over their bodies, almost like a baggy sock. Some scientists debate how exactly to classify them, but everyone agrees that hagfish are survival experts. Hagfish have persisted through countless global changes, existing even before the dinosaurs. Part of this longevity likely comes from their slime-based defense, which, with just a tiny squirt, can balloon into a vast, sticky mass. They thrive in cold, dark marine environments, from relatively shallow coastal waters to depths of several thousand meters. You'll often find them scavenging dead or dying fish, slithering in and out of carcasses in a way that's both unsettling and efficient. But the most nightmarish part is not how they eat, it's how they escape being eaten. When a predator strikes, the hagfish defensive response is almost instant. It releases mucus and microscopic protein threads from dozens of slime glands along its body. In fractions of a second, this combo absorbs surrounding seawater, transforming into a gargantuan goo that can clog a predator's mouth and gills. Imagine adding a pinch of powdered gelatin to a bathtub of water, multiplied by 10. A single hagfish can produce enough slime to fill a multi-gallon bucket in minutes, though it rarely needs that much for a single attack. The effect is potent and disturbing. Predators end up with a mouthful of thick, fibrous gel that makes it almost impossible to breathe. The secret lies in those thin protein threads. Each is 100 times thinner than a human hair, yet can extend up to several inches. When released into water, they uncoil into a three-dimensional network, joining with mucus cells to form a viscoelastic slime, both stretchy and sticky. This slime can quickly choke a predator's gills, forcing an immediate retreat. You might be wondering if hagfish risk sliming themselves in the process. Fortunately, their anatomy has that covered. Hagfish don't have rigid bones or typical scales, so their bodies are incredibly flexible. They perform a unique trick, tying themselves into a loose knot near the tail, then sliding that knot forward along the body like a squeegee to clear away excess slime. This same motion can help them gain leverage when ripping off chunks of food from a carcass or slip out of tight spaces. Their skin also sits loosely over their muscles, which helps minimize impact from the outside attacks. Combine that with their super goo and the ability to knot up, and you have an animal that's almost impossible to grip. If a shark tries to bite down, the hagfish slime sloshes straight into the shark's mouth, while the hagfish simply ties a knot and slides away. This defense system holds up against even the most feared creatures in the ocean. Sharks, for instance, might try to swallow a hagfish once, but after one unfortunate chomp, they're left gasping in a goo that blocks their gills. Underwater footage shows large fish snapping violently in an attempt to clear out the slime, meanwhile spitting the hagfish back out. Meanwhile, the hagfish calmly glides off, looking completely unscathed. Because fish rely on a continuous flow of water through their gills, any block can be lethal. A mouthful of hagfish slime is quite literally a choking hazard. This is such a strong deterrent that many predators will only attempt it once. Predators that have already encountered a hagfish tend to avoid them in the future, even if they are hungry. Hagfish, along with lampreys, are considered by many scientists to be living fossils. They've retained traits from a time before jaws were common in fish, and their skeleton is mostly cartilage rather than bone. Despite the label, they aren't frozen in time. They've adapted in small ways over the millennia. Yet, their basic body plan remains recognizable in fossil records dating back hundreds of millions of years. Over that span, Earth experienced massive shifts, continental drift, mass extinctions, and the rise of top marine predators. Hagfish persisted by filling a vital niche as deep-sea scavengers, feeding on rotting carcasses that drift to the ocean floor. And whenever a bigger fish tried to make a meal out of them, that fish learned about hagfish the hard way, or more accurately, the slimy way. Beyond its sheer gross factor, hagfish slime has captured the attention of researchers for multiple reasons. Those microscopic protein threads could inspire new, high-performance fibers. They are strong yet flexible and form spontaneously in water. Scientists are hoping to replicate this for eco-friendly textiles, strong medical sutures, and perhaps even protective gear. And since their slime is naturally generated, there could be applications for creating biocompatible gels. For instance, materials that expand upon contact with moisture. Imagine a dressing for wounds that seals quickly, or an expanding foam to fight oil spills. And hagfish keep those protein filaments coiled tightly until they need them. If researchers decode that trick, it might allow them to develop smart materials that activate precisely under certain conditions, like advanced sensors or rapid response barriers. Working with hagfish slime can be a messy ordeal though, and not for the faint-hearted. Lab teams often compare handling it to working with an unending supply of thick nasal mucus. But history has shown that nature's strangest solutions often contain the biggest breakthroughs. While the slime is undeniably the star of the hagfish show, these creatures have other claims to fame. They are opportunistic scavengers, typically waiting for a large fish or mammal to die and sink to the seafloor. Then they move in, wriggling through any available opening to devour soft tissues from the inside out. It might appear grotesque, but their actions help recycle nutrients. They also use their knot-tying behavior to gain leverage during feeding, anchoring part of their body to tear off pieces of flesh. This same knot trick assists them in tight crevices, letting them slip free if they get stuck in mud or debris. One big misconception is that hagfish actively hunt whales or sharks. In reality, they mostly focus on carrion. They can parasitize a weakened fish, but it's far more common to find them going after the dead matter on the seafloor. Another frequent mistake is calling them eels. True eels belong to a completely different group, anguilliforms. Hagfish belong to their own category, Myxini, often studied alongside lampreys. They look eel-like, but the resemblance stops there. With their unusual defense mechanism, hagfish might seem invulnerable, but they do face increased fishing pressure. Some regions harvest hagfish skin for eel skin products, and there is scientific interest in their slime. Overfishing can threaten local populations, especially because hagfish reproduce slowly. Though it's pretty obvious that they are not the most cuddly or photogenic ocean dwellers, they do actually play a crucial role in marine nutrient cycles by cleaning up decaying matter and keeping the deep sea's food web in balance. With a reputation for being one of the grossest creatures in the ocean, hagfish aren't exactly easy to love. They are floppy, slimy, and look like something that shouldn't have made it past nature's draft phase. But somehow, this mass of a creature has perfected a survival strategy that's kept it around for hundreds of millions of years. Because in the wild, it doesn't matter if you're fast, strong, or even remotely attractive. If you can make yourself completely unbearable to eat, you win. We can't all look beautiful doing our jobs. Sometimes it's just about getting the job done, disgustingly or not. Let me know in the comments if there's any other creatures you guys would like to hear about next. This channel is just getting started, and I'm committed to putting out the most interesting marine life content for you guys. I'll be reading every single comment that you guys leave.